Hey, I wanted to go over what to do with your 8-week-old puppy real quick, just a few tips. So we have a lady here, she is a 9-week-old golden doodle. First of all, we want to crate train, and you do that by creating a positive association with the crate. So I like to use all of their food to either build a relationship with me by feeding out of my hands, we'll go over that in just a second, or I put the food where I want them to have a positive association with, like the bed and the crate. So if I'm going to put it in a bowl, it's going to be given to them in the crate or on the bed. If they're making noise, then you ignore the noise. If that doesn't work, you can swap the crate, tell them no, quiet. And that does two things. It starts to teach them the word no with the consequence and teaches them quiet. Once they understand that, then it gets very easy to say, no, quiet, if people come over or whatever the situation is. So we just want them to be relaxed and stable and just really good in the crate, because the crate is a great place to be introduced to all kinds of new people coming into your home, new smells, like anything that's going on, having a party or whatever at your house. Great place for your dog to be is inside their crate. They can smell, see, hear what's going on, give them their favorite bone, their favorite toy, and they'll just have this positive experience inside the crate while they're getting exposed to your home, your life, your friends. You can also give, every time that you leave and they go in the crate, make sure they have, take a Kong toy and put some food in it. You can freeze some peanut butter in it, freeze some raw meat, or give them their favorite bone. And they only get that when you leave. So then, instead of it being this anxious, nervous, frustrating thing that you leave, they're like, oh, he's grabbing the keys, or she's grabbing the keys. Sweet, I'm going to go run into my crate because I know I'm going to get my bone. So just think about, we want to create a positive association with everything in our lives. I don't want to have to change my life to accommodate a dog too much. I want them to learn to live in my life. So if I get up during the night to go to the bathroom, because I do not manage myself nearly as well as I do my dog, then they make noise, I tell them no, quiet, I go to the bathroom, and then I go back to bed. Because I know their schedule, I know when they were fed, I know when they're watered, I know that dog, the puppy should be good to go through the night if it's up to that point. So I just want to live my life the way that I want to live it, and obviously some things are going to be different because I have a puppy, but I want the puppy to be a part of my life. I don't want to have to change everything I do because I have a puppy. And they're perfectly capable of figuring that out. We just need to be very clear about our expectations and creating those positive associations for whatever it is that we do. All right, we're going to go over some food work, so I'm going to let her out. Come on. Very good. Okay, so first of all, I don't want her to be jumping up on me. You see that she's sitting, waiting to start? Good girl. Are you ready? Yes. And so I'm going to just feed out of my hand, and then I can take a piece of food, and this is going to work on the recall. I throw it. Lady, come. Yes. Good girl. And you can also do this while one of the other dogs is here and it's doing food work and they want to join. So once you've done this enough, you're going to build a relationship where they just want to be with you because they've had it's kind of like when you get together with friends, you typically have a meal together. It's the shared communal experience that creates this positive association. Once I've done this enough with my dog, then they know that they just want to be with me. They don't even know why. But even if I don't have food, they're just like, I really enjoy being with you. And we want to create that. So you see how she's no longer jumping up on me. She's sitting because she knows she's not going to be rewarded for jumping up. Yes. She's only going to be rewarded for that good, calm demeanor. Good. So to have her sit, we just hold the food up high. Good. To get her to lay down, we're going to take the food and just push it down. Yes. Good. And so she knows how to lure, so I can lure her and get her into the heel position. I can get her to sit next to me. Come on. There we go. Good girl. So that she becomes comfortable in this position, so that when she's ready to heel, she's had so many positive experiences here that she just enjoys being in this position. And when she's older and it comes time to train those things, it makes it really easy. You can even walk forward, come on. And so she's learning to heal by just getting that food. Yes. Lady, come. Yes. Good girl. Very nice. Okay, so that's the basic obedience. The big thing is the recall. So what I will do is I'll take them out somewhere, park, backyard, and I'll have food, and I'll let them get distracted, and then call them to you. Say their name, say come, yes, give them a lot of treats, lots of praise, lots of affection, a big party every time that they come to you. One thing that we do that kills our dog's recall is that we only call them when the fun is over. So they've been playing in the backyard, we call them, and then we take them inside and put them in the crate. Or we go to the park, and the only time we call them is when it's time to go home. And then dogs start, like, hey, I hate going to you, because it always means there's no fun. So call them randomly to you, reward them with treats, praise, and affection, and then let them go play again. So if 90% of the time you're calling them, and it's just fun and treats, and then they go back and play, they're going to come to you every single time. Good girl. All right, so that's the basic obedience we want to do with puppies, and the obedience at this stage is the least important part. The most important part is helping them to be confident. We want them to be comfortable with all kinds of different sights, sounds, colors, textures, surfaces. We want to expose them to as many different things as we can in a very positive way, using food, using praise, using affection, using toys if they're into toys. So I'm going to kind of show you. You see, she's getting a little frustrated because I don't usually stand here and talk when I'm training her. So she's like, I don't get what's going on. And so she's trying to get my attention. Hey, I'm still here. Yes. And she's so darn cute. So take your dog to a park, to whatever you can find. Anything that is new and that they haven't ever been to. And then have them follow the food to go over. So she's never done the ladder, and it's not too difficult, but I stepped on it, and that kind of startled her for a second. So that's great. She got startled, and is still going over the ladder. Good. And we'll go over here to the pool. And something like the pool. Come on, Mama. Good. You can even take some food and just drop it down on the ground and let her eat it. And just get used to being in the pool. And that's just a new experience. So whatever you can find that they've never seen before, we just want to just expose them to it in a very positive way. So we want to create positive associations, and we want to desensitize them. So you're actually doing three things. You're creating a positive association, you're desensitizing them, and you're building focus, because they're paying attention to you and ignoring everything else in the environment. And that's what we want them. Like when we take them and there's people and dogs, we want our dogs to be socialized. We don't want them to be social. We want to be able to go to a park, ball game, festival, parade, have the dog walk with us, do a downstay, stay with us, pay attention to us, and ignore everything else that's going on. And we start that as a puppy to see if, to get them to pay attention to us, even when there's other distractions. We start out making this distractions very easy, like this. This is, there's nothing in here but the two of us, and there's not a lot of distractions. Once she's doing well with this, and we've done this with her, where she's done this work around 5 other dogs, where she's paid attention to me, we've done the food work, and she's ignored those dogs. But gradually, we're going to make it more and more difficult. We're not testing the dog. Like, I want to be clear, we do not test the dog. Oh, let's go see if it can handle this. No, we don't do that. When you take them somewhere, you should know that they're going to do well, because you have gradually gotten to that point. We never want to expose them too much, because dogs are superstitious, and it can create this fear and anxiety surrounding whatever that was. So we just want to make sure that this is a very, very positive experience for the dog, and it's a good, it builds a good relationship with us. So when we're done, and we have them go in the crate, just take a piece of food. Come on, crate. Just that, oh, she's sneaky. Come here. Come on, pop, 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 pop. Come on. And then just close the crate. And then we're done. So just tell them we're done. And then, make sure that and then, be very clear about when your schedule. So make sure that she's going potty. So she just ate. She's probably going to need to go potty in around 30 minutes. So we just want to make sure we're on top of their schedule. And dogs do very well with structure. So having some time in the crate, having some time, once they learn the bed command, time on the bed, some time with us. Every day, a dog needs mental stimulation and physical exercise. And those are two very different things. Mental stimulation, when we take a test for like an hour, we become exhausted. Like you go and take a nap. And all you did was sit there. Same thing with the dog. There are breeds that they'll go run 20 miles at a dead sprint and then come back, take a nap, and an hour later they're jumping around the walls again. They need mental stimulation. So what we did, this is all mental stimulation. She's trying to figure out what I'm trying to get her to do. She's trying to figure out what do I need to do to get that treat. And she's thinking, okay, this worked last time. So I'm going to sit, I'm going to sit, I'm going to sit, I'm going to keep sitting, and hopefully he's going to give me a treat because this worked last time. And so once they get in that mindset, we can start teaching them new tricks, new skills, new behaviors in a positive way using food, and it's going to stimulate their brain, and it's going to create some mental exhaustion, and they're going to be ready for a nap. The other thing is puppies need a lot of sleep. They will sleep 14, 15 hours a day. And if they don't get sleep, they become like a toddler that doesn't get a nap. They become ornery. They whine, they cry, they bark, they chew, they poop all over, they pee all over. They have all these behaviors that we don't want them to do and we don't understand. And it's because if we don't make them take a nap, they're not going to take a nap. And just like a 2-year-old, sometimes they need to soothe themselves to sleep. So sometimes if they're whining or barking or crying, you just need to ignore them and just let them work it out. Pretty soon they're going to realize, oh, they're never going to come get me. They're never going to let me out when I'm making that noise. So I might as well just relax, lay down, and go to sleep. So that is how we want to manage our puppies throughout the day. When they're out with you, I recommend having them on a leash. So put them in a harness, not on a collar. So we don't put any pressure on the puppy's collar until they're 6 months old, and we do what we call leash pressure, and we teach them to give to the pressure on the leash. Put them in a collar, and they can pull, they can do whatever they want, and obviously they're not as strong, so it's not a big deal, especially if they're a little dog like this, but because they're sneaky, they'll get away from you and go pee under the couch or under the bed or whatever. So you need to be, very consistent with them, watch them, manage them, make sure they don't. It's much easier to prevent bad behaviors like getting in the garbage, counter surfing, jumping up on people, barking at the door, chewing the carpets, chewing the furniture, chewing shoes. It's much easier to prevent those behaviors than it is to try and stop them later. So that all comes from management and providing structure for your dog. And this is the same for a dog or a puppy, but it's so much better if we can start this as a puppy. It makes it so much easier. Like I tell people, they'll come like, hey, my dog's been having accidents in the house for a year. Can you fix it? Like, well, I can do a lot of things and I'll get the process started, but I cannot fix that in 3 weeks. They've been doing it for a year. It's going to take probably another year to fix that problem. However long you've been dealing with it, it's generally going to take that long to manage that situation before they stop doing it. Now, if you want your puppy to go potty in the exact same place every time, it's very simple, but difficult at the same time. What you want to do is every time you take them out, you take them, and I would put them on the harness, take them to that exact same place every time. And you do that 100 times in a row. If they go potty somewhere else in the yard, you start over. And then you take them to that place 100 times in a row. After that, you just open the door, go potty, they'll run out and go to their place. It's better if you can delineate that location with some sort of barrier, like rocks, blocks, something, put gravel or wood chips down, and then keep cleaning it up, so every time you go clean it up. And this really helps in the wintertime, so that you don't have landmines all over the yard, so that you take them to that one place. And there are some other aspects that make it difficult. Little dogs generally do not like the snow. So you have to be, like, they may be doing great in the spring and the fall. Snow comes and all of a sudden you put them out and they're not going to their spot. In fact, they're not going potty. Or if they do, it's like really close to the door and then they want to come in. So there's things you can do. I actually saw someone that had these little tiny dogs, and he built out of their back door this like shed out of tarps so that their little dog had grass to go potty on all winter long. It was a pretty funny, creative way to deal with it. So there's things you can do, but the key is to just be very consistent with it. Just have fun with your puppy, have a great time. Remember, if they make a mistake, it's your fault. You were either expecting too much, you were not clear, the timing was off on your markers or your rewards. And just real quick to go over the markers. The marker is, I say yes, and that is the same as a clicker, if you're familiar with a clicker. I don't use clickers because I have ADHD and I would never know where it was at. I would go to a park, take 6 dogs to train, and realize I don't have my clicker. So I just say yes. Yes is marking that moment in time that they did exactly what I want them to do, or they're starting to do it. If I'm going to take a skill and break it down into smaller parts, as they get closer to it, I'm going to say yes, they're going to come to me and get the treat. If I say good, that means like if she's sitting, I can say good, and she knows when I say good, hey. I can say good while she's sitting, and I'm going to continue to feed her treats if she continues to stay. So good is the duration marker. And she's ready to come out. And she didn't actually do all of her food, so we're going to do another little session here once we finish this video. But that kind of gives you an idea of what to do now with your puppy. So if you have any, hey, no, and I'm not going to let her, so anything, she's a little frustrated, so she's trying to, so I'm just going to make sure that I stop her. That's the kind of thing, if you're not there to manage her, she's going to chew things like that out. So she actually has some toys that I left downstairs that she usually has that she can chew on. But, and that's a great thing too, is like, puppies and dogs experience everything through their mouths, so she wants that, hey, no. She wants to see what's inside this. What's it feel like? Oh, that's fun. I want to chew on it. So make sure they have things that they can chew on. And then if you're going to put soft cushions in, make sure you're there to not let them chew on it because they will. If they get bored and frustrated, they're going to chew on those things. So anyway, if you have any questions, please reach out, send a text. You can send a question on this video, or just reach out to us and we'd love to answer any questions you have. Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day and a great experience with your puppy or your dog.